to you.
All right. Do we see the little record? There we go.
Yes.
So on when it says you need an alternative text, hold on just a minute. All right. So let's find the one that I was doing in draft. Well, actually, we'll pull this one up since it's already done. So anytime you do a picture, you're going to be able to add content to it. And you're going to be able to link it. You always want to make sure you link your pictures. Like I said, because Google uses those pictures on their Google Images. And if you don't have an alternative text, then they can't, categorize your picture or your images. So we'll get this to come up. Okay, it was just working fine just a second ago. I guess it's going to come up today. Okay, so let's try this again.
Hey Sheila, it's Linda Marie.
Hey Linda Marie, how are you?
I'm okay. I can't complain, but nobody would listen.
And we can hear, and for some reason my website's not pulling up.
Okay.
It was just up a second ago because I was working in it. So it's want to be difficult today.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to teach without having something to show you. I might have to use one of y'all's websites and use it as a teaching tool.
Can I say something? We're waiting for that.
Hold on just a minute. Okay, this is not good. What is going on with this website?
Am I in?
I hear you.
Sorry, I've been trying since noon to get in.
Well, you were about an hour early then. All right, so we got Miss Linda Marie. Let me go ahead and do our roll call. Got Mr. Bill, Mr. Lewis.
Yes. Hello.
Miss Linda Marie, Miss Susan, Miss Mary, Miss Constance.
Hello.
Miss Estelle, Miss Mary. Okay, there we go. I don't see Mr. Danny. He's not in. All right. So finally, it came up. All right. So when you see your pictures, this is a gallery. A gallery will not have those attributes. So we're going to look at this picture right here. See if it'll pull up. All right, so you see right here where it has image settings and you have your alternative text. You need to put your key phrase in here because that picture will be indexed according to that key phrase in your Google Images. If you don't have an alternative text here, which is related to your key phrase, then Google Images will not be able to index your picture, which means your picture will not be seen on Google Images for them to be able to use. And you want that because once it's indexed in the images, then if they double click your image on Google Images, it will bring them straight to your website, which is what you want them to do, because then they can read your article based on the picture that you have presented out there. So you always want to make sure that your image has that alternative text and that it also has a link to. This one, because I did it differently, you want to make sure it links to a custom URL. And then I'm going to come here and just pull my URL. And I'm going to copy my link address, come here.
I'm confused about that. Is that the custom URL? Is that your site or is that the link site?
The custom URL is your site, is
Always
what
your
you want
site.
them to go to. So if you put the custom URL here, then you want it to go to whatever you're advertising.
And that
Whether
would
it
be the name of the page, like Travel for Less or whatever.
No, custom URL is going to be the link you want them to go to. Like with this one, I'm sending them to my Valentis page.
Yeah.
But now if you do an internal link, then you will put your custom URL here to your internal link. Say if I want them to go to just a page I'm talking about Valentis itself, then I will send them to an internal link. But
Which would be
usually-
the Valentis page.
Right. But with this one, I want to go to an external link because I want them to go straight to my Slim Roast to order.
Okay, and your name is at the end of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's my link for my Slim Roast.
The external.
Yeah, my external link. So if they click on this, it's going to take them to my Valentis page.
The internal one, I know I asked you last time, but it's your 4Y75, which is mine.com, and then whatever the name of your page that you're,
Exactly.
Oh,
So
yeah,
like-
yeah.
So like with this one, I'll get to the end of this, and I have, like right
Edit
here.
snippet.
Yep. So this is an internal link because it's going straight back to my wine page. So here is 5e95.com, Fine Wine Business Opportunities. So this is an internal link. I don't have it opening in a new tab. It goes straight back to a page within my website for them to read about my wine opportunities. So that's the difference between an external link and an internal link. An external link goes outside your web system. It opens in a new tab to go to the offer page that you are talking about in your article. An internal link, it reverts back to a page within your web system that
Okay.
is talking about an unrelated article that you tied in with your promotion that you're working at. So mine was they're celebrating their weight loss with a glass of wine. So I'm sending them to my wine page to talk about how they can become, or get good wine to celebrate if they don't have any. So you always want to try to link a page within a page in your system. So whenever you do an article, you want to always try to link it. Google likes it better. You get indexed better if you have an internal link for every article you write. Sometimes it's not feasible because you just don't have anything that relates, but you always want to try to make sure that you have an internal link for every page that you write.
okay, Sheila, but okay, the thing I got, do you see after your URL, you have wine, where did you get that title? That's what keeps, see it says wine, or you keep moving it, wine business. Where did you get that?
That's a page I made.
Okay, but where is the title for that?
This is, so if I click on this,
Yeah, I know, but where did you get fine wine? I mean, is that the name of the title? Is that the name of your page?
yes.
Oh, okay.
You have to
The
go
whole
down to
page
edit
name-
snippet,
that's the
right?
name of the- that's the name of the page I wrote.
Okay.
So it goes to 5e95.com, Fine Wine Business Opportunity. And this is the page I wrote in my system.
Okay. Okay. That's what I didn't understand.
And when you get to the bottom of the page, it says edit snippet, and that's where you'll see that written. Right? Correct? That, remember you straightened me out. Mine was numbers last week.
Yes. So you want to make sure that when you go in here, let's go back to the page we were on. This is at the bottom. So you always want to make sure that you have your link. If for whatever reason you come here and you look at your information here, if you look at your slug, you pull up your information and you see this right here is a bunch of numbers instead of an actual title. That means that you started writing before you put a title in. So you always want to make sure that you have your title in first before you start writing. Even if you copy and paste it, you want to put your title in before you paste your article in, because the computer will automatically assign this a random series of numbers. Then you will have to come in here and modify it based on what your title is.
I have another question about links while we're on this
Okay.
subject.
Okay.
When you write a brand new page and you have no links in yet, how do you decide what words to link and how many links for the page?
That's totally up to you. The way I do it, which is a great thing because we have, we started a draft last week on a page that I was writing or starting to write. So we will go to that and I will show you.
There's no wrong way to do it, right?
No, there's not. And what you want to do though, when you're writing, and I always write my pages first before I do any kind of article linking. Before I put any links in it, I always write it. If I think of a picture, I'll put the picture in first, or if I want to start off with the picture, I will do that too. Like here's one I just got an approval this week on the cutest baby contest, and it's a referral per click ad that I received. This is the one that we started last week too, about the wine, baths, and cigars. So this is one. I'll go ahead and look at this one. I just put in a title and a picture. I didn't do anything else. I think I might have started writing a little something just so I can put my thoughts down that I was coming up with. So let's get this to open. Hopefully it will open for me a little bit quicker than the other ones. Yeah. My grandson had his iPhone, his, what else was that? Yeah, he was bored today because I told him he couldn't watch TV because I knew their dad was coming. He was getting off work a little early, so he grabbed his iPhone, and then he got tired of playing with his iPhone, and he grabbed his little, what is that little Nintendo thing that the little handheld thing, Nintendo 3 or whatever that's called, the little handheld portable thing. So he had both of those on, so that's what I'm trying to figure out where they are because I got a feeling he left one of them on. So this is the picture I got, yeah, this is fine. All right. So this is what I started with the cute babies, and kids are precious gifts. So as you can see, I just have a picture here. Yes, I already said that. After conversion, perfect. Convert to blocks. That's fine. Preview. And the thing about it is when you start writing an article, go ahead and write your article. And then if you have your text that you want to put in or your links, you want to make sure that you link an outstanding phrase or a popular phrase that, people will be clicking on. You don't always want to fill up your page with click here or go here or visit here. You want to make sure that it's linked to phrases or words that stand out, that actually connect with what you're talking about. There's not a per se of how many you want. My rule of thumb is you want to have at least one link for every paragraph that you do. You want to have at least one title or heading linked. You want all your pictures linked, unless like this one, it's a code and the code is linked itself. But you want to make sure every picture is linked. You want to have at least one word or phrase. Phrases are better than single words. They stand out more per paragraph. That's just my rule of thumb. If you want to do more, if you have a lengthy paragraph and you want to do a couple, that's fine. You also want to make sure you have something that stands out that people can see, hey, this is where I need to go. In some of my pages, I always have at the very bottom, or I try to have the little button, which is one of your blocks you can use. And I fill out the button that says get started or click here or join now, so that they know they can click that button. But I always use the button last because it doesn't give you the option to open in a new tab. So as soon as they click that button, it's going to take them away from your website. So that's one of the things you want to be aware of. The button is a really good tool because it does stand out. You can color code it. You can link it. You actually can put the text that says go here, get started in bold, in caps, whatever you want to do, to make them aware this is where they need to go. But again, it doesn't open in a new tab, so you always want to make sure if you use that particular block style that you use it at the very bottom of your page once they get finished. But there's really no general rule. Just however many times you want to link it, then you can. I always say the more the merrier, but you don't want to clutter up your paragraphs with a bunch of links either, because then people will get tired of reading it. And then Google will think it's more or less a spam ad than it is an actual article. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean when you said that picture was code?
Yeah, it's an actual HTML code that I got from my advertiser. They sent me a code, and I just put the code in there. That's all. So it's an HTML code that's linked with my advertiser.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you go to CJ, so see, here's the code. I actually put in it because I wanted it centered. It wasn't centered, so I put in the code to center it. This is my link right here. So if I just wanted to use a link in here, this is my actual link. And then I can come here and I can link this part here if I wanted to. So I'll come here and link cute babies. Put in my link, open in a new tab, and apply. So then that's linked. But I got the link from my CJ. Like I said, it was a new affiliate that I got approval for. Again, this is one I did not apply for. I've just been getting a lot of, for whatever reason, I've been getting a lot of approvals for stuff that I haven't applied for. Some of them I accept, some of them I don't. They're there if I ever want to use them. That doesn't mean I have to use them. That's the thing about when you start getting approvals from all these different companies. Never deny them. Even though it's something you didn't apply for, if it's in one of the affiliate houses that you are marketing with, do not deny them. You just keep it in your system. Let them know that, yeah, it's there. They know that it's there. Because once you start denying a bunch of affiliates, you can basically get blackballed, which you do not want to do.
Testing.
Yes, we hear. Is this Mr. Beal?
No, this is Bruce. I didn't know I was testing on you. I was testing to see if my mic worked.
Yeah, we just can't get it to work when we just can't get it to work when we do Skype.
Well, I bought a third headphone set.
Well, good. Hopefully we can get it to work next time. All right. So, but yeah, you do not want to get blackballed from your affiliates because you all of a sudden start denying approvals. So when you get approvals from various companies, just accept it, put it in, know that it's there for you to use, but don't deny a company. Because word will get around in the marketing house that you are denying these companies, and then all of a sudden you can't get approval for the ones that you really want. Okay. So, I'm going to get rid of that one. I hope it didn't close down the one I want. So I'm going to come here and I just have so many that I've been approved for. It just takes it a while to come. I'll have to move you. Come down. There we go.
Where are you keeping those that you've been approved for?
They're all here. Whenever you go and get approval for a link or an affiliate in your CJ account, it will always be in your links. So if you come here to your links and go to search, you see I have 802 pages of approvals. I have 40,000. So it takes a while for it to come up. So then I'm going to, okay.
You're not going to eventually put that many on though, right?
Eventually you will probably use about a third, maybe a fourth of your advertisers. If you stick around long enough, eventually you'll probably use at least one of them at least once in a page.
What kind of numbers are you thinking? Like 500,000?
Right now I have close to 800 or 900 vendors I work with.
Wow.
And some of my pages have multiple vendors. I don't have a page dedicated to each vendor. I roughly have about 200, a little over 215 pages in my system. I started with 112, so the rest of them I've written on my own. But I use multiple vendors. I don't have a page that is exclusive just to one vendor. I like to give my shoppers a variety. So whenever I create a page, I usually have 2 or 3 vendors in there.
You're advertising for all those people?
Yes.
Wow.
But now I've been doing this for a while, so it takes you a while to build up your clientele. And then, like I said, all of a sudden I start getting approved for vendors that I didn't even apply for because word gets around in the marketing house that I'm advertising and people's getting hits and clicks. And then, it's sort of like word of mouth. The next thing you know, you got everybody and their brother wanting you to market for them because you're getting them sales or getting traffic to their website, generating new customers for them, which is a good thing. But then you have the option to pick and choose what you want to market. Your marketing field gets bigger, and therefore you have a bigger reach that you can market in your website, which is just a plus all the way around. Like I said, I have over 40,000 different offers that I can use in my website. Will I use them all? That's hard to say, but it's good to know that I don't have to, my field's not so narrow that it's hard for me to create new pages. I can go in and write it. Huh?
40,000?
Yes.
Oy, oy, oy. Okay.
I remember she said she's been doing this for a while.
Yeah, I have, there's quite a bit. And, like I said, it's good to know that I have a very broad field, to pick and choose from. I have a range from anywhere from, pharmaceuticals to self-help to clothing, just about anything I want to market, I have access to it here. Not to mention the other marketing houses. I have 5 or 6 other marketing houses that I've picked up over the years that I can market from too. That's not here in CJ. That are very good too. They're just a little bit different. So I have a variety of stuff that I can market, not only in the United States, but several other countries and provinces too.
That's another question I was going to ask you about is the Canadian wine. Should we have a new Canadian wine page if you're into wine?
They will, as soon as they get the approval to do a pre-launch in Canada, then we will probably start creating a page. What I would suggest you do, since we know it's coming, it's going to be, I got a feeling they're going to announce it in August when we go to the DC, convention in August. I got a feeling they're going to announce it there in Texas. If I already know it's coming, we know it's coming, I would suggest you go ahead and do a pre-launch page and put it in draft so that when it's ready or available, you already have your page done, and just do it similar to the ones for Australia and Germany, UK, or create your own. And then when they release the pricing, the pre-launch dates, then all you have to do is just fill in that information. Usually Rory will create a page and he'll have the senior instructors to create pages, and then he'll choose the ones to put in the template page for you to go and copy and put in there. But if you're good at writing and comfortable at writing, go ahead and create your own and just draft it until they give a release date. But we know it's coming. We already know that it's there. Kevin tells us every week that it's going to be open. He's opening it. It's going to be open by August. But we know it's going to be opening before the end of summer for Canada. Okay. So yeah, that's a good thing. That'll just give us more directions that we can go. And then I think their next step is the pack rim, trying to get it open, which is great since we're already open on Australia and the UK. That's sort of like a bridge between the two countries. So they'll probably be working on that
Mexico yet.
Yeah, Mexico was in there. So I don't know. He hasn't given us too much of an update on Mexico, but I do know that that's in the works too. So it's not going to be too long before there's not going to be too many places we can't ship to. So, and they're still working on the 5 or 6 states in the United States. They're still working on those to be able to ship to those too.
Is the Mexico one going to also be for other Central American countries?
Now, I think it's just going to be Mexico. They have to do each one separately because of restrictions and laws and stuff like that. So, but I think once they get Mexico open, it will probably bridge the gap for them to open other Central American countries. So, all right. So what else do we need to talk about today?
Sheila, it's Constance. Hi.
Uh-huh.
I have, in my postings, for some reason, my pages under P picked up on PieWacket and made it like into one huge paragraph. I mean, why did it pick up a posting and put it into pages under P? It's, PieWacket, my Congo African Gray, that's in my posting. Why is it in my draft? I mean, in my, in the pages. I don't want it there.
It could be because it was either you accidentally hit post instead of page. And that's the only way it could have got into post, was that somehow it was.
No, the other way around. I want to keep it in post. I don't want it to go into pages, and that's where it popped into pages.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
So the only thing you can do to fix that is just copy it and put it in a post page. So you'll actually have to go here to post and open up a new post, and then make sure you put your title in first, and then copy the exact information that you have there and put it in post.
Oh, let me go look. No, I think it's in post. All right, wait a minute. I'm going to go look because I'll actually have a heart attack if that's what happened. Okay, PieWacket, Let me
Don't
open
have
it
a
up.
heart attack, Constance.
Yes,
I'm going
not here. I
to-
can't get to you.
No, see, there it is in post, exactly with the pictures and exactly everything. Perfect. Unlike what it is in Pages, which is one big paragraph. So, okay, I'm just going to delete it from Pages. That
Yes,
won't
if
delete
you-
it from
yeah.
post, right?
Yep. If you have it if you have it in both, then yes, you can delete the one you don't want. So just trash it, and then after 30 days, it'll go away, or you can just go ahead and trash it and then hit delete.
Oh,
But make
thank
sure
you.
it's the right one. But
Yeah,
if
the
you have it-
Pages has got to go.
yeah, if you have it in post and it's exactly the way you want it, then leave
Right.
it there and just get rid of the one you don't want.
Okay, it's just weird. I don't know why all of a sudden it showed up there. Like, what did I do?
And it probably, because I know they've been updating a lot of the servers and stuff, and I know there's been some updates in your WordPress. If you have updates in your WordPress, go ahead and do them. We've already been approved to do any updates that you have. Sometimes when you do updates, for whatever reason, there could be a glitch and it will change some stuff in your page, in your website unintentionally. So just go, that could be one of the glitches. I actually had 2 pages that got merged one time doing a draft, doing an update. Don't know how that happened. It was just a glitch. It was easily fixed. I just went in and, just made 2 pages again. But sometimes they could be little glitches whenever there's an update, and that's just a technology glitch. There's really nothing we can do about it. But just go through, just make sure you do the updates as they come through. And then if there's anything that's skewed or wonky, let your instructor know so that they can get with Matt on the tech side, and he can go in and he might have to rewrite some codes or something to get it fixed.
You know what you said about the add-on? I did it, and then it had 4 there. Let's say it had 4 there. But it said below, you're all up to date. So do you want to restate it? And I know I don't want to restate it if I'm up to date, right?
Now, if you're up to date, if everything's up to date, just leave it. Usually if it tells you that there's another
Reinstall. I'm sorry, reinstall. Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to reinstall. You just hit the updates, and then usually if you log out of your system completely and come back in, those are usually gone away. But if not, just leave it. You don't need to reinstall. Everything should be active as soon as you hit those updates. You probably just need to refresh, but you don't click reinstall.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Damn, I may not have had to buy a 3rd headset. I updated this morning and now the mic works.
Bruce, you didn't tell me that.
Well, you didn't mention that it could screw up during an update.
Oh, I love you.
I don't have your usual problems. Mine are always different.
Well, I have a different one for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
You know how this past week Rory went over how to do the coloring and things like that on your webpage?
Mm-hmm.
I started that on a modification of Australia Wine Club.
Uh-huh.
And I was changing that part that said where everybody was, and it said it was too long, so I turned it with headings like everywhere. And I put the everywhere in green. And then I showed it to my mentor, and because I was going all the way down the page and removing the dots they had in there and making them their own paragraph, so to speak. And it made the next group green, but not the heading.
Now,
And now I can't even get color to pop up.
Okay. All right. So when you are, let's just go to this one. No, I want to go to one that I actually, all right. So when you are in block, so that's the one thing is you want to make sure you are in block when you go to do your changing. If you're still in classic, you can still do your colors in classic. So if you're in classic, you can still stay in classic.
The opportunity to click on colors is not appearing.
I'll show you. Now, if you're doing a header, headers cannot be put in color in block form. They can only be in black. So you have to be in classic to do a header in color unless you are linking the header. If you link the header, then it will automatically turn it blue. So hold on.
I'm confused on what you're saying about I need to link.
Okay. If you're going to use your header and link it like you do your words in your paragraph, you can link your header. You can put a hyperlink in your header. All right, hold on. Let my page come up.
You can do that in Classic too, can't you?
Yeah, Classic is great for colorizing.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
put it in paragraph, type in what you want, and then change it to a header.
Yep. So Classic is great. So what we're going to do is, all right, somebody needs to mute that. Just remember I'm recording, so anything we say is going to be on our recording. So when you want to change a color of a paragraph, you're going to click on your block, all right, and make sure that you are in your block form up here. Sometimes you'll revert back to document, so you always want to make sure you're in block, and then you're going to look for your color settings down here.
Yeah, but I don't want that. I just want the header changed.
Yeah, headers cannot be changed in block form. Okay, so if you have a header, hold on. So like the way I changed my header here, this right here, it is actually, yeah. This I did in a classic block to change the color of the header. If you do it in a regular block setting, you can't. It doesn't change.
Right here, where's your color?
I did this in a classic block. Let me show you.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. All right. So for some reason
I'm frustrated.
Oh, you're fine. I'm gonna show you how to do it so that you can get your color in a header. Now you can do color in any other thing, but it works better when you are in classic. So as soon as
I just never got the choice in classic or anything now and anything else.
Yeah, classic is, I like classic better. To me, it was a little bit more user-friendly. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna get a classic block.
Common block, classic block. Okay.
Yeah, classic block. And then when it pulls up, and it looks a little different. So it's telling me I'm using classic block, and you see all your functions are right here in the actual block.
Thank you. Now show me one more trip. How do I get to that block menu?
All right. So when you go to block, all right, let me get rid of it and we'll start over. So let me remove this.
I can do this one.
Okay. So you're going to hit when your plus button shows up right here. Okay.
Yeah.
And most people only come to this first set of functions, and it's the most used. This doesn't have every function that's available to use in blocks. You have other categories up under here. We don't use the inline elements. It's just redundant. You don't really need it. But then you have your common blocks, which is something everybody uses. You have your formatting blocks, which is where you're going to find your classic, your HTML. Yeah, look under formatting. You're also going to have where you can do quotes, you can do tables, you can do quoted verses. Then you have your layout elements where you have your button, which is great. You also have your columns where if you want to do columns of paragraphs where you can do a comparison like step 1, step 2, step 3. You have your columns. You have your text and media block where you can do a picture and words and wrap your pictures around. Just remember when you do this block, you cannot index your photo. You can write a comment, but you won't have the alternative text for your photo when you do your media text block.
Okay.
All right. So, but you want to use this widgets. You don't really need to worry about widgets, embeds. None of these here you don't use a lot of. However, if you have a particular block or page or paragraph that you want to use repeatedly in other pages you're going to create, and you're like, okay, this is a great article or a great paragraph that I like to use, like the lady I use for my wine. She's a reusable image block that I have. So whenever I want to use her, instead of searching, I just pull up my reusable blocks poster in there and it's done. So if it's something you know you're going to use repeatedly, then you want to make sure you save it as a reusable block. But for the most part, you're going to be using your layout elements, your formatting, your common blocks, and your most used. So that's where you're going to come to your formatting. You're going to click on your classic block. And when it puts it in there, it's going to say classic. And then
Yeah.
what you can do is you're going to have paragraph. It automatically reverts to paragraph. But then you click on that drop down, and then you can do a header. You can select which kind of heading you want to use. And
Yeah.
then after you choose you don't want to use a heading 1 because the heading 1 is reserved for your title. So if you use a heading 1 inside your paragraph or inside your article, in your Yoast down at the bottom in your readability, or either, I can't remember if it's either your readability or it's in your key phrase, it's going to give you the warning that you used a header, a heading 1 in your page, and not to do that. So you always want to use a heading 2 or smaller inside your page, because heading 1 is reserved for your title. So once you choose your heading, okay, then you can come back in here and you see this little line A.
Yeah.
That's your color. So then you can choose whatever color that you have. You cannot customize color. It'll, you just choose whatever color's there. Customization is not an option in this one. So you pick your color that you want to use.
Yeah, I chose green because that's a sign of growing.
Yep. So then you just type your text. And it should, where did it go?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you have to, because see, mine jumped around, so I got to go in and make sure that it did pick that color.
Yeah.
So you always want to make sure your cursor is the color. Wine and health. All right, so it's green. Take off the Y. There we go. And then if you want to link it, you just click your link button and you can insert your link right here, which is good. This is the only time your color will stay the color that if you want to link it. If you're writing a paragraph and you want to link, it will not allow you to link in Classic. That's the sad part about it. Once they reverted to block mode, you cannot link in Classic. So you can go in and write all the colors you want, change all the paragraphs you want, but once you convert to blocks and link it, it automatically changes the color to blue. It's default. So just make sure that whatever you are color coding in your words, that you are not going to link that color word, because it will revert to blue automatically. That's the default. The other thing that you can use with your Classic is the same thing. You can put it in italics if you want. So if I want to highlight this and say, hey, I want this in italics, I just hit my italics button and it will revert it to italics.
Just a question out of curiosity. Why isn't the underline code there? I know I can do an Alt-U, but why isn't it there?
Have no idea. Probably because you do. It used to be there when it was just basic Classic, but you probably have to do the special functions to get the underline there now.
Okay.
Is it because it needs to be linked, maybe?
Huh?
Doesn't the underline only come after you link it?
No, you can actually underscore something if you want it to be important without it being linked. So if you do a Control-U, it will underline a phrase or, however you want to do it. But when you go to
something on the second line with a capital A, it looks like it's underlined.
That capital A is the colors.
Yeah, that's the colors. That's just telling you that it's the color code.
Okay.
Yeah. And then once you get here, then you can center it. If you want to align it to the center, you can center it. This little option right here is if you wanted to put media. So I can click on that and it will bring me back to my Dropbox. And then I can go to my media library or I can upload a file if I want a different file in there. Find me a picture. And let's put this picture in here. Click that one and insert that into my picture. And then if I wanted to do, and then, so there, and then once you get finished with your picture or with your paragraph and you've got it exactly the way you want it, let's see. How are you doing that? And because I've got text on my pictures, it automatically brings the text over. So then once that's done, I can actually...
That spelling of throw your feet up.
Huh?
I thought you fixed that spelling of throw your
I
feet
did
up.
too. I think I fixed it in my... I didn't fix it on my saved document. I just fixed it on my actual page. Yeah, I put through. All right. And let's click this picture, and I want the picture to come on this side. All right. And then once you've finished and you have it the way you want it, then you want to come to your 3 dots and you want to convert it to block. And the reason you want to convert it to block is so that it saves right in your website, in your page. But you don't want to convert it to block until you've done everything in it that you want to do. Okay. And I'm going to leave that one there because I need to come in and do some more. So I'm going to go ahead and update this, and I'll come back and play with it later. I don't want to take it out of draft, or I don't want to put it in draft because I do have advertising out there to it. And if I put it in draft and people click on my link for my advertising, they're going to come to a broken link. So I'll just leave that out there and know that I got to come back in here and do some more stuff on it.
Sheila?
Mm-hmm.
What I do is I stay in Classic and write the whole article and get it the way I want, add the pictures, and then convert it. Well, add the pictures, color whatever the words I want, and then convert it to block. That way I don't have to convert back from block to Classic in order to add something I forgot.
Yep. And that's why I said it's totally up to however you want to write. What are your writing stances or your writing styles? A lot of times if I know I'm going to do a lot of colorization in my wording, I do the same thing, especially if I want to rearrange pictures differently. The good thing about with Classic is it doesn't use gallery options, but you can basically put your pictures anywhere you want. Whereas with block, you're kind of limited to the block format. So if you wanted a picture at the beginning of your paragraph and one at the end of your paragraph, all you would have to do is click your cursor wherever you wanted the picture, hit your media button up there, and put your picture in. And then you can align it however you want to align it. And then once it converts, those pictures stay exactly where you have them. So that's how you can get a side-by-side picture with content in the middle, is you have to use your Classic block to do that. And then once you convert it, those pictures stay wherever you put them. But yeah, a lot of times when I know I'm going to be doing a lot of, how do you call it?
Posting.
Well, not really posting. If I know I'm going to do a lot of tricks in my page, kind of that I know blocks are not going to allow me to do, then I will stay in Classic. Just like Bruce said, I stay in Classic until it's finished and exactly the way I want it. Then I will convert the whole thing to block and then go in and put my links. But I hardly ever write an article around a link or an article that I got approval for. I write based on something that interests me, and then I'll come back and say, what do I have that will go good with this article? So that, to me, that's easy. I can write about anything, but don't tell me I have to write something specific because I'll get brain block quick. It's like, okay, I can't think about that because you're telling me I got to write something specific. But if I can just flow and write whatever I want to write about, then I can always come back and find a product or some information to go with whatever I write about. So if you're having difficulty writing about a product, don't write about the product. Write about something that interests you. Either something that's going on in your life, something that you've experienced, an opinion that you have, something that you've heard about, or updating on something that you've read about, just life experiences in general that you've had throughout the course of your life. Write about them. And then once you sit down and get finished with it, you can always look at it and say, oh, this will spark my memory on, this product or that product. Or, once you get your ideas on paper and get them organized, it's easier to find a product to go with it.
Sheila, can I ask you a question here?
Sure.
There it is. Point number 4. It reduces, where'd it go? It reduces the risk of stroke. I have had that before, and this type of title, and have not been able to figure out how to fix it. The number 4 starts out indented from the left because the picture is still stopping it. But then the next word, stroke, is way down there. How can I put another space in there before putting point 4 so that everything is on the same line? I tried adding an empty block, and Well, I tried adding a block, a classic block, and when I convert to blocks, it doesn't stay. It goes back to the way you see it now.
Probably what happened is because this was in classic, you see how this picture is overlaying 2 blocks?
Yes.
So what you're going to have to do is either remove this picture. That's the only way to fix it, because you cannot alter this picture between 2 blocks. This picture actually has to be condensed. It's too big because it's covering 2 blocks. That's why.
So shrinking it isn't going to help any.
No, if you shrink it, then it's going to have to choose between which block, and that might not necessarily get rid of this extra spacing.
Right.
So probably what you would have to do is remove this image altogether and put a different image in there. That will alleviate this extra spacing. But this is what happens when you write in Classic. This is one of the things about Classic that is the drawback, is when you do alternate pictures like this, that when they come back, because of the sizing of the picture, the block will actually distort the picture between 2 separate blocks. Therefore, you will have this distortion in your next paragraph. So you will either, like I said, have to remove this image and replace the image, or you're going to have to go and try to downsize this image, and then it might distort your paragraphing here. So if I come here and, drag this image up, it might change how my paragraph appears. Because you see right there, it now put it together. If I do it like that, it still doesn't move it over. So, so more than likely what will be the best bet is to remove this picture altogether. Then this will move over where it's supposed to be, and then I'll have to use a block to put a different picture in there, because this was done originally in Classic.
Okay, well,
Use
I
the
hope-
media and image to do it? Could to replace that, could you do media and image?
You mean a media text? Yes.
Media and text, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you can do a media text, but then you got to remember these are 2 separate blocks. So then
Okay.
you're still going to have to remove this image, and then you're going to have to decide which block you're going to remove to replace it with, because this picture is spanning 2 different blocks.
Okay.
So more than likely what you would have to do, and if you get rid of this picture, this is probably going to take both of these away. So you'll have to copy this information so that you have it back when you go to get your image and text back. Because when you go to remove this image, it's going to remove both of these blocks, because this image is spanning 2 blocks.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, like what you have it there, you moved it down and put another space in there, and it's got the whole sentence.
Yeah, I actually just shrunk the picture, but that doesn't mean it's going to stay. Because see, when you go to caption your picture, it goes back to the way it originally was. So
Okay.
you just have to, play with it a little bit if you don't want to change anything, and just hope that it stays. If not, that's the only other option, is you're going to have to copy these 2 blocks. Remember what you put, get rid of what was there, and then come back and add the next thing that you need to put there. Because see, it's just the way that it transferred over. Because the picture.
Or write more in the first paragraph. Or write more in the first paragraph.
Yeah, just make it a little bit, better, because you can play around with it until you get it the way you want it. And always check the preview and make sure you're checking the right preview. A lot of people, when they go to update, they'll check the preview that comes here. Use this preview, because then it opens in a new tab.
Okay.
The other preview opens up over the page you're working on. So I always use this preview, because this preview will open in a new tab and you can see what it's going to look like.
And what does the view page up there in the black do?
Same thing, but it will actually open over this page here.
Will you lose your changes if you do that?
No, you won't,
Okay.
but it'll show you what you're doing. But you can, when you go to view page, you will still be in here, and then you just have to hit edit and continue editing. Whereas if you use this one, it opens in a new tab so you can see how it looks. Then you can close it and come back in and still be in edit mode in this size. Whereas if you open the other ones, then you have to click on edit, find your spot that you were at, and continue editing. Whereas if you use the preview over here, on the preview, it opens in the new tab. You can see how it looks. If you don't like it, then my page is still open, and I say, okay, this is where I was at. I don't like the way this is, and fix it. Instead of going back to hit edit, scrolling down, finding what you needed to fix. So it just, to me, it's just a little bit easier. to see it in a new tab instead of working over the one that I was at. Okay.
Is it true that if you replace your links in classic mode and then convert to blocks, that your links will not be retained?
No, you cannot change your links in classic.
Okay.
Yep. They will not stay. It'll look like it stays, but the minute you revert to classic, it automatically puts the original link in there, back in there. So in order to link anything, you have to be in block format. So that's why I say you can create everything in classic. You cannot link in classic. You have to be in block to link.
Okay.
What is the difference between block and classic?
Classic is the original format that WordPress was created under. Last year, about the middle of last year, they decided to upgrade and go to block format. They said it was a little bit easier, friendlier, easier to work with, more teachable. So they changed their format to block. To me, classic was easier. Yes, it was a little bit more difficult because everything was right there together. But because everybody liked the block format, but still liked classic because it had functions in it that block format does not have, they actually have a classic button now, or classic block, where you can go in and work. Classic just has everything right there together, whereas now with block, you have to pick and choose how you want your blocks to look, because now everything is in block. Whereas in classic, it was just like one big sheet and you just wrote, you created your own format, you know, whereas with block, it's formatted for you. You just have to choose which format you want to put where. Whereas in classic, you got to pick and choose, hey, I want a header here. Let me go ahead and choose header, fix it, you know, where, you know, if I want to do a paragraph, I hit paragraph and just write. So now if I wanted to put an image, I click my image icon, put an image here. Whereas in block, if you want an image, you actually have to choose an image block. If you want to have an image in Word, you have to choose a block for text and media. Whereas in classic, you just did whatever you wanted to do when you wanted to do it. So basically, the block format is supposed to be an upgrade, but you still have the option to use the classic. Don't know how long. They said classic's eventually going to go away. I hope it doesn't, because I really like using classic format. But probably when they get rid of the classic block is when they get everything converted that's in classic in the block format. Then they'll probably get rid of the classic block. But right now they don't. We used to could go in and change our font. They took that out of our classic block that we have, so we can't go in and change our font. All you can do is italics now, whereas before you could actually change your font style. We can't do that anymore. That was really fun. But that's one of the options that, and classic's fun to use, especially if you just want to highlight one word or one phrase. You can only do that in classic. In block form, you either highlight the whole phrase or you highlight the background. You can't highlight individual words or colorize individual words. It's either the whole paragraph or the background. Whereas in classic, you could highlight individual phrases, or you could color code individual phrases or words, or even your header. You can't color code your header in block form. Okay.
I like classic. I hope I'm dead before they get rid of it.
You're not going anywhere, Bruce. Don't talk that way.
Hey, you know how old I am.
I do. That's why I said you ain't going anywhere.
I bet you're not as old as I am.
I'd put money on that.
No, don't, Bruce. You're gonna lose.
No, okay.
You guys are so funny.
Okay.
And
So,
Sheila, you think eventually they're going to get rid of classic altogether, right? Eventually.
yes, eventually, but they're not going to do that until they match each other. There's
good.
there's still a lot of kinks in the block form that classic does not that they don't have, that classic does, that people still use in classic. But they do say that if you haven't upgraded your whole system to the block form, which I do have some students that have not upgraded yet, if you are still in classic originally and you have not upgraded to block, they will upgrade you probably before the end of summer. So if you have not updated your system to the current block format, I suggest you do it as soon as you can, so that you don't come in one day and get ready to start working on your site and all of a sudden it's a site you don't recognize because it's converted to block. So go ahead and do that update. It's not that hard to get used to. Actually, it's going to be easier for a lot of people to use that are struggling with Classic. But those of us that like the Classic, because of all of its little bells and whistles, it's still there for us to use. And once they get the two to look exactly like, they'll probably still keep that Classic block around for a while.
Every day I go into my system, I don't recognize it.
Because you're writing a lot, Bruce. You ain't supposed to. All right, what else do we need to go over today?
Can I just ask a quick question?
Sure.
Some of Rory's pages, I put him back into draft, and he has one huge block. I mean, there's like nothing, except pictures. I mean, there's no break. So if I want to go and add, and I try to get a plus sign, a little plus sign, and I'm going like, like on top, because if he's got one huge, say block, I can't seem to get a plus anywhere. So I'm going, let me see, I'm going to go down.
And that's what you can do with that. And he does have, especially if it's in the original content, there's like running, what I call running paragraph. It's just a lot of words. There's over 300. So what you need to do in that instance, especially if you've already converted to blocks, just put your cursor anywhere that you want to break up. And you see this little plus sign up here? You can create a block wherever you put that cursor. If you don't, So if you have something running here and you're like, oh, I want to put a block here, then you hit your cursor, you hit your enter button and put a space in there, and it will create a space. And you see how it dropped it down to another block? So then you actually have another block. Then you can go in and create, hit your plus sign right here. And as soon as you hit that plus sign, it will give you the option. What do you want to do here? You want to create another block? What kind of block? And then it will insert another block in there. So that's all you have to do to create that, is just put your cursor anywhere, split it up, and hit this plus sign and pick which block you want to put there. If you want to do a heading, put a heading there. If you want to put a Classic block and start something else, you can do that. Whatever you want to do, you have to create it.
Okay, it just worked. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, and then, all right, I've got the same thing. Remember I asked you on the right, and so, by the way, where it says permalink, I'm going, I'm on my dashboard, so I'm starting to move your dashboard. I go, this is not working.
See it. I'm following you.
Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Where, you see where it says permalink? And in fact, I think your little hand is right there.
Yep.
If you hit that, that's where your link is, right there.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And this right here is actually your slug, and this is your link. So this is what you want to advertise, is where it says preview. This is the link that you're going to be advertising. So if you're like, well, I don't know what my link is, it's always going to be up here at the top. So your permalink's always going to show up. If you click on that, there's your permalink there too. But if you click on your permalink here, it's always going to be right here at your preview. So you can use either or.
So it'll put up whatever page or category I'm in will be down there in preview, or up there. Whatever.
And that'll be your link that you advertise. Remember, you was asking me, where did I get the fine wines? This is it. This is the link that you create. And that's the good thing about having a website. The way that we have ours is that we don't have to advertise just our main website, which mine is 5e95.com, and tell people, oh, go to 5e95.com and find this page. Because of the way our website is set up, each individual page that we create has its own URL. So we can direct people specifically to what we want them to go to. Then when they get in there, then all of a sudden they can see our links over here. They can see all the other stuff that we have to market and start shopping. But we want to pinpoint specifically, hey, I want you to go to my Fine Wine business page. Here's my link. And you put your link there instead of saying, hey, go find my Fine Wine business page on 5e95.com, search for it. That will generate you hardly any business, because people's not going to search for stuff unless they really, really want it. But if you direct them specifically and say, hey, here's where you go to get what I'm talking about, they will click it and it'll bring them straight to where you want them to go. So that's the very good thing about having our individualized website, is that each page and each post we create has its own link that we can direct people specifically to that link, so that they're not searching all over our website for what they read about. We can say, boom, here it is, go right here, which is great. A lot of websites, it's a search, because they have a one-page website or they have the very basic website. So then they have to link it and say, okay, go to this particular spot, then hunt for it. Ours is not that way. So, which is good. So now every time we create a page, it creates its own URL. So that's why when I say when you're creating something, your title is important, because you always write your title first. That will become your URL link for your page. So if you start creating a new page and you're like, okay, I'm going to do that first, then it's going to assign a random group of numbers and letters as your title, and you have to go in and fix it. So it's better, even though you're like, I've already created my page in Word document, I'm just going to copy and paste it. Don't. Write your title first, then copy and paste it from your Word document to your website. That way your title is fixed. If not, then it's still going to select the title for you. Even if you come back later and type it in, your slug's still going to remain the same until you go in and change it. And you don't want to do that, because then if you don't get it exactly right, your Yoast and everything else is going to be very distorted. They won't link. You'll have a broken link. So always type your title in first before you do anything else.
And you might have said this, and I might have missed it. Did you say your title is your slug? Is that right? Okay.
Yep. So if you notice, my title is Fine Wine Opportunity. If I click on my business link or my permalink, my URL, Fine Wine Business Opportunity, exactly the same. So you always want to make sure that your title and your slug match.
So is your permalink the same as your slug?
The only difference between your permalink and your slug is they put your website address.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You can also change pages on the merchant. For example, if you're talking about makeup and you're talking about lip balm, you can put a link directly to that page of the company.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You can. And that's why I said writing a page is so important. Go ahead and get your ideas down and then come back and link it. It's a lot easier to link a written word than it is to try to write and link at the same time. So get your thoughts down first, arrange them, make them sound good, get it on paper, then come back and worry about putting your links in. Because then you can, like I said, it's very, very rare that I have one link in my page. Like with the wine, I kind of single it out by itself because it is such a big seller. But even if I wanted to come back in here and put different things in here, like with the wine and health, I could actually come back in here and put, healthy meals in here with the wine. I have several different meal companies like Plated. I have WebMD foods that I can put in here where they can order better foods to go with their wine. Which is something I might come in here and do later. Like I said, I always write and come back later to stuff that I've already written and update it. Because as you get more confident in your writing ability, you'll find yourself doing the same thing. You'll come back to things that you wrote weeks, even months ago, and like, man, I've changed a lot. This will sound better like this. And you will be updating stuff. So that's why I said your website, even though today you're saying it's finished, you come back next week and read some stuff that you wrote this week, and you'll be like, oh, that sounds better this way, or this would look better here, or I need to add this. Just like I'm reading here talking about daily vitamins and to boost your immune system. I could easily put in a blurb in here for my Valentis immune booster with the wine. Or even my vitamins company, I can put in here, to get your daily vitamin supplements and put a link in here for them to go get their daily vitamins. So there's several different things that you can come back afterwards and think of, that you can actually put in here. I actually have a company that does studies, so I could put that company in here. And say, hey, you want more updated information on wine studies? Here's a company, and put the company link where they can go and actually get documentation on wine studies and heart health. So there's several different things that you want to do that you can link. You don't necessarily have to do one page for one individual company. Give people variety. Just like you are creating an online shopping mall, make it appear like a mall. Give them the variety, give them options, so that when they're reading, if they see something, maybe they're not interested in wine, but they want to read about facts. They want to read about good health choices. And you got an option for them to go there and find other health choices. Same thing with clothing. Don't just do one clothing line. I mean, CJ's full of women's clothing, men's clothing, children's clothing. Give them an option. Give them a variety of different pricing ranges. You know, if you got your couture, you start out with your couture clothing that ranges anywhere from $200 to $1,500 for an outfit. Then you want to get them down to Mulberry and Chignico, where you know they can spend $5.99 for a T-shirt. You know, that might be better in their pricing range than, you know, $35 for the same T-shirt because it's got a name brand or a logo on it. So to give them options, you always want to make sure that people have options and that as they read, those options are appealing. Pictures are a big seller, so you don't want to have a lot of documentation with no pictures. So don't just give them a lot of words. People are very visual shoppers. They want to see something that relates to what they're reading about because the picture will draw them faster than a bunch of words. So you always want to make sure that you have relevant content, but you always want to make sure that the pictures you have in there are relevant to the content that you're writing about. So I've seen people where I, you know, say, hey, will you look at my website? You know, I just wrote a page, and I go in there and they'll have a picture at the top and a picture at the bottom and a bunch of words in the middle. And I'll tell them, you lost me after the first paragraph. You know, I like reading, but I want my eyes to have a rest after a while. So I'm gonna look at a picture and then I'll come back and read some more. You know, so always make sure that you have visual content as well as readability content. Okay.
The suggestion that you made, I forget where I heard it, might have been in one of your webinars a few weeks ago, but you said that, and I found this very good, where you have this picture up here on the left, and you scroll down, you should be, or the customer should be able to, at the bottom, see another picture coming up that makes them want to go down there to see what it is.
Exactly.
I thought that was very good.
Yeah, because people are visual. I mean, think about you when you're reading a magazine. What do you read first? Why do you even pick up the magazine? Is it because of the title, or is it because of the picture you see, or is it both?
It's because Salma Hayek is in it.
Most people will pick up a magazine because of the picture they see, and then they'll read the article. They'll be like, oh, what's this about? But they will pick up a magazine because of the picture on the front cover.
What did I just say?
Exactly. Same thing with the book. When you go to a bookstore, what do? You look at the cover. You look at the cover, and it's like, oh, that cover is interesting. And then you read the title and see if the title matches the picture. I watch my grandkids when we go to the bookstore. I take them to the bookstore twice a week. We have a used book. She calls herself the book lady. And she has a little store, and she basically trades books. People can go in there, get rid of their old books, and she gives them a store credit, and they go and pick out new books. So it's basically like a book exchange. And I watch my grandkids go in there. Evie, she's 3. She can't read. So what does she do? She look at the pictures. If the picture interests her, she picks the book up. Now, my grandson, he's 6. He can read, but I still notice that he will look at the book, he'll look at the picture, and then he reads the title. And if he can't say all the words in the title, he puts the book down, whether he liked the picture or not, because he didn't think it was interesting or it might have been too hard. But if he can read the title and likes the picture, they'll go sit down in the little cubby, and I'll see him look through it. And if he doesn't get past the first couple of pages, I know one or two things. It was boring, or there were words in there he couldn't pronounce. So I take a lot of my cues from my kids because people are still that way. If the picture doesn't interest them, they could care less what the title is. So you always want to make sure people have visual content, because like Bruce said, they'll see this picture and they'll read, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, there's a bunch of words. Oh, wait a minute, there's a picture. What's that picture of? And then they'll see the picture and like, okay, what they're talking about. So you always want to make sure that you give people something to look forward to so that they continue reading. But like I said, write your content first, then you can always match your picture and your media. Get your page exactly the way you want it. Get your pictures done, get your wording done, and then come back and link it. That should be the last thing you do, is link it. That's not to say you don't have an idea of what you want to put there, but that doesn't say right around that idea, right around that product. You can always think, okay, I got some products I'll write about, but don't write around that specific product. Write about what you know about that product, what it can do, and then come back and put your links. And as far as what you want to link, That's totally up to you. But you want to make sure you use key phrases that you know people will be interested in and link those, because those are the ones that people will probably click. And always try to use phrases instead of one word information. Try to use phrases, 3 or 4 words together. If you have to use a whole sentence or a whole paragraph, link the whole thing if that's what is the interesting and key point. And then just go from there. This is one I wrote. I noticed I don't have a whole lot of links in. It's probably one that I wrote and said I will come back later and put a few links in it. Just never came back to it because I'm sitting here looking. I don't have any links all the way down here. So this is stuff that I've added later and just never came back and linked it. So I got some homework for myself to do. Then here's this. I linked, some of it, but not all of it. So, like I said, I still have stuff that I come back and find that I haven't done. Same thing with you. You're going to come back and find different things that you can always come back and work on. But always make sure that your website is always going to be a work in progress. Never say your website's complete. Like I said, I got over 800 vendors that there's no way my website will ever not be finished with that many people that I can write stuff about or write about and link with. So your website should never be in a state of completeness. It should always be in a state of ready to add to.
Is that what the 14 revisions say there on the right?
Yeah, you see, I've done, yeah.
I was just wondering. I go, no, but that's good. That lets you know.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm always working in my website. I think yesterday was the first day I did absolutely nothing. And then I can't say I didn't do anything because I did my V-marketing. And I actually came in and wrote that title for the cute babies, because as soon as I saw it come through on my website, on my email, I went through and wrote a title. I was like, oh, this will make a great title, and put it in draft. So I can't say I didn't work in my website. I'm always doing something, but I didn't do a whole lot yesterday because I actually went to the pool yesterday. I'm sorry. I had my training yesterday. I finished with my student about 1:30, picked up my grandchildren from school, and went and picked up some stuff at Lowe's. I went and bought me a brand new cooler from Lowe's. Had this cute little cooler at Lowe's, outdoor cooler. Went and got one of those. And I said, y'all want us to go to the pool? And they said, yes. So we went to the pool.
You didn't get your computer yet, though, did you?
No, I like the pool better. So, but yeah, I love the pool. Hold on. I think my wine just got here. Here's somebody knocking at the door. So hold on just a minute.
Wow.
Yeah. Hold on.
Take pictures. Guys, can I ask you, is anybody out there?
Yes.
No.
You keep all of Rory's pages, because some just really,
Yes.
You do?
Yep. I put them in draft if I don't want them. You
Oh,
can
yeah,
always rework them later.
Right. That's what I did. Because there was a couple that I just, baseball, some of the sports things I just said later.
All right, that was the mailman. It wasn't Mike Wine. Okay, that's okay. It's coming. They did send me an email, said it's coming. So, even though I don't drink, I still like seeing it come. I do give one every once in a while, about once a month. Once every couple months, I give my UPS driver a bottle. I'll be like, "Hey, you didn't try this one." He's like, I'm not supposed to. He's like, okay, you did, just me and you. It's okay. All right, so what else do we need to go over?
I have a question about CJ's. I got an email telling me they're going to deactivate my account. Obviously, I'm not getting enough traffic. So what do you suggest that I do so they don't deactivate my account?
They will send you that about every 6 months. And all you have to do, go ahead and let them deactivate it. As soon as it deactivates, go back in and sign back in. Everything comes back up.
Everything, even the stuff I had before?
Yep. Everything comes back up. You don't lose anything.
Oh, good.
It's,
So just let them deactivate it. Don't try to, because in the email it says I can reactivate if I want.
yeah, you want, and that's all it is. Or you can go in and have somebody say, hey, go to my website and order something. If you have somebody and just, say, hey, go to this site and just order anything. You can go personally if you see something and just order it from your website.
I can order it myself.
Yeah,
Oh.
You can go in. CJ's the only one that you can go in. Brunette, you can too. Just go through your website and order something.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
And just
Thank
make
you.
sure it's something that you use. I order my husband does. We order our pet products in there. A couple of different pet companies. We actually we got a new vet for our dog, and one of the pills that he takes from the vet, it cost us about $160.
Ouch.
Yeah, ouch. And and we found it on I think it was Vet Pet Care. I think it was my husband found it. And we could get it there for 100. I think it was 101. The same thing. And but we had to have our physician sign off, and we had to fax a basically a prescription to them before they could fill it. And I was glad because we had run into that before with another company, and the physician that we had wouldn't release it. And he's like, well, we'll beat their price. And they beat the price one time, and then after that, they wouldn't do it again. So, but our new vet, he said, I have no problem with that, so he signed off the prescription and we sent it in, and, hey, that's $60 we get to save. Plus it comes through my website. So,
You get pet food from CJ?
I haven't gotten the pet food yet. We're still playing with stuff because my dog, he's kind of old, so I got to make sure that he gets the right stuff. Yeah, he's almost 9 now, so I have to be careful with what I feed him. I don't want him to leave us too soon, even though he's been with us for a while. So yeah, I have to be careful. I'm very picky about my babies.
Yep, I hear you.
So, all right. So what else?
I don't know if this is the right forum, but I'll put it out there anyway. Rory talked about the Get Started page that we can copy from Niall's website to our own. Where do we put that in on our website, and how do we fold it into the V-marketing process? When and where?
Okay. Just about everybody on here should be preparing to get into V-marketing. If you're not, then that'll be your next step. That's for the Valentis program. If you're not into that, whenever you get ready, just give your instructor a holler. But the V-marketing, how you use that program or that particular one is after you get the positive, you sent the 3 texts, you sent the emails, and you sent the 4th day text message, and you still haven't they still haven't responded to you, then that's a page you would get from Niles, and you would create another email or text and tell them and direct them to that page, and that page sends them to your health and wellness page, and it also sends them to your Valentis page for them to upgrade. And that's basically just another way for you to let them know, instead of continuing to text them, that, hey, this program does work. This is how it works. You've sent them to this page so that they can see how it actually functions. It has the videos that we made a couple of weeks ago with personal validation from people that are using the product, that's also marketing a product and making money. So it's more or less a validation that, yes, this is a real program. And then you will actually put it in your page, your website, under your coffee link or your coffee category. And you can put it there or just leave it as a freestanding page in your system, and because it's still going to have its link. And you can market it for your V-market, for your Valentis, just like you do for your coffee pages. So you could either put it in your health and fitness underneath your coffee. So you can put it underneath your coffee like I have, the different ones I have. So you would actually have that one here. And then you would market it so that when people come to your website and they click on your coffee or your health and fitness, then they can click on coffee and there's that page they can read and actually see actual testimony of how it works. It just depends on how you want to use it, or you can use it as a freestanding page, and they can just come up here and search for it, search for coffee or search however you want to do it. But when you go to market it on your free ad sites or your social media, you're going to put your link in it just like you would any other thing that's on your page.
And do tiny URL or?
Yes. When you market it, you're going to use a tiny URL. And when you do your email and your text, you're going to use a tiny URL. So you're going to go to your tiny URL program. I have mine up in my toolbar, and click on it, and then you will put your link for your web page in there, and then it will create a tiny URL. And the reason you want to do that is because it actually puts that S on it, that HTTPS, and it doesn't raise a red flag to Google or text messaging that you are sending spam information.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Where do you get that tiny? Because I had asked you about that.
Go to tinyurl.com. It's a free program.
Okay, I'm going. Hang on.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah. And you just, once you click on it,
there it is. Welcome to Tiny URL.
Yep. And that's the way it should look. And you Yep. And then you just bookmark it. You should have a bookmark for, like I have mine just on my toolbar because I use it quite a lot. But if you have your blogging folder, you can put it in your blogging folder or your ad site, however you have it listed. That way you can use it. It's there for you to find.
And what are you going to put in? What's going to be your tiny URL?
That new website, that new web page you're creating that Roy was talking about, that Niles created for him, or he created for Niles, for your V-marketing, for those that have responded positively, that said that they're interested, but you haven't heard back from them. You've sent all your text messages, you've sent the email, you've sent your followed up text and still haven't heard from him. This is the one that he's created that has the actual testimonials that we did a couple of Tuesdays ago. And he created a page. So you want to use that as another follow-up to the people in V-marketing that responded positively. But you want to create a tiny URL whenever you say, hey, go visit this page, or here's some more information to keep you updated. And then you put that tiny URL in there. But when you go to your advertising for like your social media or your free ad sites, then you don't have to use the tiny URL. You can use it just as you would any other advertising. But when you're doing your text and your email, you want to make sure that you use that tiny URL.
Sheila?
So what is Niles' website?
I'm not sure what Niles' website is. I know if you get with your instructor, they can give it to, I think Rory's actually going to put it in, no, it's not. It's in episode 9. Is where go to episode 9. If you haven't been there, get with the instructor to get the passcode, because you have to make sure you've been approved to get to that website. And he's actually put the link in there. Now that I think about it, he's put the link in there to where you can go and copy information. Yeah.
Sheila?
Yes.
I must have missed something, but what is V-marketing?
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. That is for the Valentis, the coffee program. And that's where once you get your coffee pages and everything set up and you're ready to get started with the coffee program, we actually have a V-marketing program set up to where we give you up to 1,500 list of names where you can send out text, pre-programmed text messages to build up your coffee program.
I'm gonna quit working on wine, start working on coffee.
We do both, but you have to have your coffee and wine pages done, which I think you're just about ready to go there.
Well, I was working on coffee. Or wine. I think I'll work on coffee now.
Yep. And we can talk about that on our next training, because I do have that on there for whenever you got finished with your wine pages.
Okay.
But you have to have your coffee and wine pages modified to even be considered for the program. So,
There's
yeah.
That's my next priority.
Yeah. So if you want, then that goes for everybody on the call. If you are not in V-marketing yet, or if you have the Valentis program, but you have not modified your pages yet, in order to be in the V-marketing program, you have to have your wine and your coffee pages modified, completely modified, not necessarily with the links in, because you don't have that in there yet, but you have to have it modified. And then once you have that done, you want to get with your instructor and see if that's something you would be interested in. You do need to be in either the wine or the coffee program. That hopefully will be the next step, because it will kind of be redundant for you to be marketing for coffee or wine when you're not in the program. Because what would happen is when you get a positive response for somebody that says, yeah, I want to start, sign me up, you don't have a link to sign them up with. You would have to use your instructor's link. Therefore, if you use your instructor's link, you do not get the commissions. Your instructor will, because that's their link. So that's the thing about when you sign up with these, you need to be in, especially with the V-marketing, you need to be in the coffee at least, so that you can gain the commission. Because once they get in with the coffee, with your link, then you would get with the instructor. If they come back and say, okay, now how do I get started? Then your instructor will get with them, and you can do a 3-way call, which is what I've done with quite a few of my students that have gotten in the program. And we will go over with them and show them how to get a PBS system and start marketing that. Once they get in the PBS system, then we will show them how to use it and then walk them through signing up with the wine program. So that's how you will get your wine customer base started, because they go hand in hand. And then once you get started with that and you get comfortable with it, then we move you on into the instructor mode if that's the way you want to go. If not, then we continue to do it the way, you go through your instructor to get your students in. Yes.
Sheila,
we lost
you.
Oh, I see where it says connection. I don't know why I got all this. Everything's good. It could be the heat. It's really hot here.
91.
Where are you, Sheila?
I am in North Carolina. I'm right outside of Charlotte, Monroe, and it's roughly about 92.
91 here in Colleen.
We're cooler than you are, and we're on the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, but we have that sticky hot heat where you walk.
I think ours is like 85 here in Arkansas.
Yeah, well,
I
I stand on my porch and start sweating and have to come in and take a shower. I would rather have dry heat than the humid heat we have here in the South. It just gets so hot and sticky.
Well, I know Houston's on the Gulf of Mexico, so it is humid also, and they got something that's trying to be developing in the tropics.
Yeah. Yeah, you be careful out there. We have some people that was in Texas that had those tornadoes come through. We actually had one up in Statesville. They were talking about it yesterday. They had some swirls up in the atmosphere, but I don't think it ever hit. But Statesville's still about 3 hours from me, so.
Well, the ones from that had in the tornado area were predominantly north of Dallas, between Dallas and Oklahoma.
Tornado Alley.
Yeah, so y'all be careful out there. I got quite a few of y'all out there. So what else do we need to talk about?
Oh, Sheila?
Mm-hmm.
Niall's website is 2p93.com, and I put it in the chat.
Okay. Good. So y'all can go to the chat and find that. Also, those of you that, I'm going to put this in the chat too. You want to go to...
You said it was Niles?
Yeah. And it's 2p93.com is Niall's website. And you just want to go there and find the page for the coffee. But also, if you go to rrr247.com/master, and put that in the chat for you to go through and look and pull that. That actually has the new training for the V marketing. It has the step by
That's where I
step.
saw it.
Yeah. It has the step by step, you know, do this, do this, do this. It has videos that you can go through. And then once you get finished everything, it actually has get with your instructor to get the next step. So pull that website out, go through and look through that, make sure that you have followed those there, that you have everything in order. And then if you're ready to get started with the V marketing, get with your instructor and say, hey, I've done everything that's in the master training. I'm ready to get started with V marketing.
Is that the same site that you go in and you go under the V marketing on it, and then it just goes by product all the way down?
No, this is actually Rory's website.
Yeah, Rory.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I've already got it.
Yeah. That's what
I was about to say. I had the check-in and everything, and I don't know. Like they even wrote me a very cute email when I said I couldn't do the 2 products. I could only do the 1.
Yeah.
And they did anyway. They were really sweet, and I said, oh, my associates just love it, and I can't wait. And so they go, thank you so much for letting us know about your this. So I don't know. Does that mean I'm in, or I'm so confused now?
Yeah, if you're ordering a product, then you are in Valentis. But you're in Valentis. But if you have not received a email from Natasha that has given you access to a list of names for you to market, then you are not in the V marketing program.
Oh, so all right. So I can maybe ask her.
You need to get with your instructor.
Oh, God, don't.
Yeah, because she's the one that has to go, because this is the list. Well, everybody has their own individualized list. I don't know how many I got on there. I think I'm down to over 700 I've actually worked. And I think I don't know how many more I got in there. But it's a 90-day program. You get a minimum of 1,500 names to work in those 90 days. And you will get probably out of those, they're banking on you getting it. And I know this number sounds low, but it's actually a great number. You'll probably get between 100 to 200 positives. Out of those 100 to 200, you will probably gain anywhere from 15 to 30 students or customers. If you get that many customers, you will probably get an income ranging anywhere from $500 to $1,500 a week on a regular basis. But you have
week?
Yeah. If they order on a regular basis, because those people, out of those, you'll probably have about 10 of them that will get into PBS and duplicate exactly what you're doing. And that's where your residual starts to come in. And then we will get a 90-day program every 90 days. After 90 days are over, you will get another set of leads to work. Trust me, Rory has plenty. He actually bought another 1 million leads that we can work. So after this 90 days is over, you'll get the option to work another 90 days. And your 90 days starts whenever you get ready to get started. Now, what you have to understand, though, is that you have to know how to work your own system, because whenever you get these people in here, like this one, and they say, yeah, I'm getting they're in the program, where they're getting a customer. They come in as a customer. This one came in as a customer. But if they come in, like with this one, she wants to be a rep. So now she's asking, okay, how am I going to market this? So I got an appointment to set up with her to show her how to work a PBS. So I'm going to hopefully sign her up to work a PBS and be a new student for me. So if you're working the V marketing, you have to make sure you're comfortable with your own website, because you might potentially get a student or a person that says, hey, show me how to market what you're doing. So then you're going to be an instructor all of a sudden. So you have to make sure you're comfortable with your system, or comfortable with your instructor, because if you're not ready to be an instructor, then that means your instructor is going to have to walk them through but they will be your student basically, and you will be on every call that your instructor has as a three-way, so that you get used to learning the process. And that's how you grow your system. And it's wonderful. It's not that hard. It's just you have to be patient with people. Some people will do it, some people won't. Some people just want to get in and sell at retail. Those are the ones you're like, okay, I'm here if you need me. Let them go on their own. The ones that want to work it will work it. The ones that don't, like I said, all these had nothing. This was a potential. Didn't do anything. So, you keep your codes and you work it the way that you see fit. And, it's a good way to generate leads and potential, and get your student base up, get your customer base up.
Where do you get that list?
That list comes in from Natasha. So once you get finished with the marketing and get your pages edited, it looks like we might need our class on Tuesday.
Okay.
Please.
So
Put me up for Tuesday.
so we can go over this and make sure we
What
get
time?
everything straightened out.
Oh, this doesn't include us. It's only you.
Yeah, one of my students.
Oh, bummer, Sheila.
Oh, Sheila.
On this Valentis page, do we have to market their coffee, or can we mention other coffees?
No, on Valentis, it's strictly for Valentis.
Yeah.
Yep, it's strictly Valentis because that is their marketing. And they have, that's why we're using the V marketing. It's strictly for their products.
I thought maybe it was just for their juice that you poured in the coffee.
No, their product is coffee, but you can mix it with your regular coffee. It's not exclusively just their coffee. You can, like with my husband, he uses it and he mixes the Brazilian with his regular Brazilian coffee because he likes it really strong. Now I mix it with my hot chocolate. So I get my cocoa and I mix my coffee with the cocoa because I don't like the taste of coffee. And then I put a half a teaspoon of caramel in there with it to give it a little sweet taste. So
I just found a link here in the States, I think it's in California, to get the coffee that I drank in the Belgian Congo, which was really good coffee. And I wanted to market that from these people.
You can. You just have to create a separate page for it. And
Okay.
what you can do, and this is a good way to tie in our products. You can actually market that, and then you can put in a blurb for them. Hey, if you want to use your coffee as a weight loss system, mix it with this coffee. And then you would send them an internal link to your Valentis page to tell them about Valentis.
Okay.
So that's how you would work that. You can still market that coffee and say, hey, here's a coffee, but hey, if you want to use your coffee and use it as a weight loss coffee, then you need this product to integrate with this. And then do an internal link and send them to your Valentis page and let them read about Valentis. Then that way you can market both of them, but you can't put that on a Valentis page.
Okay. That is important. I wanted to know that.
Yeah.
And it
Same
would be
thing,
great if they had a affiliate that you could use if you're Belgium Coffee, right, Sheila?
Yeah, but you still couldn't market just like with wine. Like I have the wine membership on CJ for the wine basket. I can't do the wine basket with DC because they are the same, basically the same thing. So it's not like with the clothing company. You have several different clothing companies you can market together. With that, you can't market the same wine. You can't put them on the same page because of the way their marketing system is. They are competition, very strict competition. Same thing with the coffee. You can't put another coffee with Valentis.
Okay.
So even though I would love to do the wine basket with the DC, I can't because of their marketing system. And so that's why I say it's really important when you get approval for these affiliates that you read their bylaws, because it will tell you in there what you can and can't do. So I know with the wine, you can't market other wines even with the wine basket. I can market chocolate, I can market coffee, I can market cheese, but I cannot market another wine with that wine basket. I can't market another wine with the DC. So you have to read their bylaws because it tells you what you can and can't market with them. And they will, if they find out that you come across your page and monitor you and see that you're doing that, they will take their affiliation from you.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to cause a problem.
No. And a lot of people don't read those laws or the guidelines that are in with they're just like, oh, I got approval for this affiliate. That's wonderful. And they never read it because some of them are really long. They're like pages long of do's and don'ts. But they can be really important. And some of them are really strict. So you need to be aware of the do's and don'ts of your affiliates that you've gotten approval for, because some of them do not let you in a market with other products. So you need to be aware of that so you don't get in trouble either with the law or losing your affiliation or anything like that. So especially with products like the wine and coffee, some of them are very strict, and I know those two are. So just like I have that Thin 375, I have approval for that. Well, I can't market another diet system with that. Same thing with Nutrisystem. I have Nutrisystem. I can't market another diet program with the Nutrisystem. I can't even mention it. But I have that. So those are the types that I have to create a whole separate page just for them. And I can't intermingle another diet system with them. So I can't even mention Valentis with the Nutrisystem. I can't mention another food product because that's all Nutrisystem is food. But now I can market clothing, any kind of clothing I can, so there's still things I can enter market. I just can't do anything that is considered their competition, basically.
That's the first time I've heard that, and it's pretty important.
Yeah.
Don't you think that maybe something should be mentioned in a video or something about that?
Well, that's why they're hoping that when you get the affiliates that you are reading those do's and don'ts, because that's where it tells you a lot.
Yeah, well, you know what Hope does.
Well, now you know. So please read, when you get approval for the affiliates, please read their guidelines. And it does tell you the do's and don'ts in there. I'm, like I said, because of my background, that's the first thing I do is read it. And there's some in there that I really don't market, and I really want to market, but I don't because their stipulations are so strict of what I can and can't do. It kind of ties my hands. So I just leave them alone. But like I said, you still don't want to deny anybody because you don't want to get blackballed or red flag, from a marketing house because you keep denying them.
Right.
You just know it's there. So if the situation ever does arise where you can use them or your hands aren't too tied, that it's there for you. But don't ever deny anybody. Just, say, oh yeah, I got it, and just leave it there. Let them make the decision of whether or not they terminate your affiliation, not you.
Well, is it all right to advertise these different ones as long as you do it on a separate page?
Yes, you can still advertise.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
as long as you don't mingle the wines and the coffees.
Yes,
and the diet.
Exactly. You can still advertise them. Just make sure that they're separate. Those are the ones instances where I have separate pages and only have one thing on them.
But how do they notify you that they're terminating you? They send you an email or what?
They send you an email.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll get an email through the email that you registered with the site with. So,
right.
And they will send you one, and they don't just come up and say immediately. They usually give you a 30 or 60-day time frame before they end it. That way you have you can clear out your account, you can take down your ads or go in and change your ad or change your link. The other good thing about our website is when we put an ad out there, we advertise our web page or the page that we're advertising. So our title might not necessarily change. So if we are linking or advertising a particular product with a link and we lose that affiliation or decide not to use it anymore, we can still maintain that title and just go in and modify our verbiage and change our links and never have to change our ads. Our ads will stay the same. So you never have to go back and try to find an ad and take it down so much as you need to come in your web page and modify your web page to your new link.
Right.
So
Let me ask you another one. This screen that you have pulled up here, look at the Response Magic, and you've got the Skinny on Weight Loss Coffee.
Yep.
Now, as I understand it, that would be posted on every page except the home page of your website.
Yep. This is my home page.
Oh, okay.
Yep, this is my home page. So this is my Valentis. It tells them to take the tour. But a lot of people will just look at this, the Skinny on Coffee. But now if I come, to any other page, it has my wine.
Okay, so it still remains that the Response Magic is only for the home page and another one for all your other pages.
Yeah. So you can have one for your home page and then create a different one that will show up on your consecutive other pages. So I actually have two, and I rotate them out. I have several different ones, and I'll, after a couple months, I'll come back in and put a different one in here. And you can create as many Response Magic magnets as you want. Just make sure that you have them all appropriate, I should say. And that whenever they register, it all goes to the same place so that you can keep a running track of who's coming in and where.
What is this? WordPress, is that ever going to change where you can put a different one on each page specific to your?
No, and the reason they don't do that is because then you would have to have a code for each page, and WordPress would have to create one for every time you create a new page, and they don't know how many pages you're going to create. So that would be kind of difficult for them to do without having to do an update constantly or maintenance constantly on all your pages that you create. There's probably a code that they could put in there, but a programming code, but it will probably be very expensive for them to do that. And I'm all about keeping my costs down.
Me too.
I'm with you.
So I'm okay with just having the one or the two and swapping them out occasionally versus having to pay a couple $100 extra, just to get another programming. Because, like I said, some people might only keep the 130 odd pages they got in there. And then you have people like me and Paul and some other people that add a couple of pages a week, 2 or 3 pages a week to our site. And it continually grows. I would hate to have to come back and WordPress say, all right, you added 10 more pages. We had to create another program and then tell me I got to charge, every month because I added something and they had to come in and create so I could add this to it. I like to keep it simple, will be fine.
130? I only got 105.
That's what I said. Some people, when they started, when I first started, we had 115. And some programs have gone away. So whenever they create a new program, they delete those pages that was there before because we no longer use that program. So some people have more, some people have less. So it just depends on what you came in with. That's why you want to continue to add. In order to get Google approval, you need at least 130.
Well, I got 115 now, so
you're good to go.
I'll keep going.
Keep going. All right. Any other questions? Anything else we need to go over?
So, so you needed a minimum of 130 pages for Google AdSense approval and at least 2 posts. Is that correct?
You need, on your homepage, you need at least 2 posts. Out of those 130 pages minimum, at least 10 to 15 of those need to be original. Mean they're totally new that you've created with links. All of them don't have to be links, but some of them you need to have the majority of them with links. Some of them can just be blogs that you write your opinions on. But you need at least 10 to 15 pages of original content. The bigger your website, the better. And
Do
you
your
want
posts have to be original too? Or, I mean, except for your main post.
they would prefer to have one of your posts be original, or at
Okay.
least modified to the point that it doesn't look like your template.
Okay.
And all of your template that you came with, that your original content, your original website that you have needs to be modified. Each page needs to be modified at least 50% from the original format. 75 is better. So that means if you need to change a picture, change a picture, change your keyword if you can, modify your title a little bit, definitely change your content in it. Okay.
In another question, what is the minimum amount of internal links you should have per page?
1.
Oh, okay. That's doable.
Yep, you need at least 1 internal link, if doable. So like I said, some pages it's not doable, it's not feasible because you just don't have anything compatible with it without starting a whole new paragraph and introducing a whole new topic. They would prefer it, but you can get green and green. Remember, the ultimate response is green and green. That doesn't mean you're not going to have an orange or a red in your Yoast. This is the page I'm working on. So you can get green and green and still have 1 red, which they could say you don't have an internal link, or they can say your title is too long. You can still get an overall reading of green and green. You can always come back and work on the ones that are not green. So sometimes you won't have the capability, or it just doesn't sound feasible to have an internal link, but it will tell you, it'll show up red or orange that you don't have an internal link. As long as your overall viewing is green and green, you'll be fine. Google will not post any article that you write that's going to be searchable if any of these are red or gray. It will not show up on Google to be searched. That doesn't mean you can't advertise it. You can still advertise it, but Google will not allow it to be searched on Google if it's in red or in gray. So just remember that. So whenever you're writing and one of these are red or you have a gray, just remember, people cannot go on Google and search and your ad will show up or your page will show up. They will not put it on there.
I've got a problem with artisan soaps.
Mm-hmm.
I have green and green, but one of the what is it? Focus
Yep.
key phrase. They say that I am using
A
what
link
is it?
for another one.
I'm using a link, or I'm using a word in the focus key phrase that is used on another page.
Yeah.
Well, I have included, because of things like that, I have included on my dashboard a column that lists the key phrase for each page. And I have searched that, and there is no page that uses the word artisan or soap. And yet I still get that.
And it could be, look at your pictures, and it could just be the way it's phrased. It could be a phrase in your pictures that it's saying that it's linked to another page. And it could just be not necessarily in that particular order, but the content could be the same. So my thing is when you run across that, instead of trying to find out exactly what it is, just change your key phrase around a little bit. But usually when you do that, you have to go through and change everything else to fix your Yoast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And artisan soap doesn't fit anything except artisan soap.
Yeah, so it's more than likely something in your alternative text with a picture.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
check for that then.
Yeah, check for that. If you know that it's not your key phrase particularly, then check your alternative text, because it could be in there, because those are also linked with your page. It's not necessarily exactly what's in your page or exactly what your key phrase is. It could be your alternative text that you're using in your pictures also. So,
one word or the other word, not necessarily both.
yeah, not necessarily both. It could be a combination or different things.
Okay.
So that's why I always say try to use the same key phrase. If you get good key phrase at the beginning of your text and then all of a sudden you finish your page and it gives you that warning, then that means somewhere in there that you've used a key phrase that is not your focus key phrase. You've changed it somewhere. Either linking a picture to something else. Like I've done that before where I've had a picture and I've linked it to wine instead of actually what I'm writing about, and I'll get that. And it's like, okay, what did I do? And it's because I've used that same key phrase for my wine picture that I use for my actual wine article. So it gives me that listing. So it's just better to use the same key phrase throughout your whole system.
You cannot use the same key phrase in a picture that you use for an article the picture appears in?
No, what I'm saying, like on my wine and romance page, one of them, I thought it would be better to send them to somewhere else instead of wine. I wanted to actually send them from romance. I wanted to send them to one of my vacation sites because it was a picture of a couple holding hands on the beach. So I put in there travel destinations, and it got to the end of it and it said I was linking it to another page, not to do that like you just got. And I was like, what did I say? It's about wine and romance. And then I remembered that I linked that one picture with travel destinations, and I have a page called travel destinations. So it raised a flag saying that I was linking my wine and romance page with the key phrase I was using on another page, not to do that, because then Google won't index your page because it doesn't know which one you want to use.
Right.
So I had to go back and change everything to make it say wine and romance. And I had to take the travel destination key phrase out because I actually have a travel destination page that I use that phrase as my key phrase.
The last 2 days, that's been driving me crazy.
Yeah. So check that and just make sure all your pictures use the same key phrase.
Okay.
That could
Thanks.
be what it is. You're welcome.
I thought they told you what was wrong. They don't tell you?
But they don't tell you where it's located. Like with that one in particular, a lot of people have issues with that because it says that you're using a key phrase that's linked to another page, but they don't tell you what the key phrase is or where it's at. So you can actually spend days and days and days trying to figure out what the key phrase is. And that's why it's better to, instead of hunting down what the key phrase is, just go through everything that has a key phrase linked and make sure it's linked with the same thing, that it's all linked with your page.
Well, the first thing to do is on your dashboard, where you go to all pages, add a column that says key phrase. And that way you can see what the key phrase is for each page. And that'll eliminate the page at least, if not the pictures.
Yep. Most people don't realize their pictures are linked. And especially if it comes with your template that you get originally that you're modifying, some of those, the key phrases or the alternate key phrase or alternate phrases are all different for each picture. So you need to go through and change and make sure the picture key phrase matches the key phrase of your actual article.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anything else?
Yes. You have helped me greatly today.
Okay, good. That's why I want to make sure is everybody's questions get answered and they know exactly where they need to go for their homework. The big thing.
I have one more question.
Okay, go ahead.
And I know you've covered this before. With Response Magic, if I wanted to create a magnet on there where I just list all my students, and then I don't know. Let's say I set up one for the seminars, the webinars, or whatever. So that once I do that, it's there, but it's up to me to send it out yeah, on a timely fashion. I can't schedule it to be sent out.
Yes, you can.
Oh,
If you go to your Response Magic,
okay.
let's go here.
I like that name.
So if you go to your Response Magic, you see right here where it says your email broadcast.
Uh-huh.
So you can set up your email broadcast. And like my list, I have my different list. I want to send it to my PBS students.
Mm-hmm.
And your send date. So I can put my send date here, when I want it to go out, what time I want it to go out. Remember, Response Magic doesn't send anything out after 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll schedule it for the next day. So if you want it to go out for that day, you want to schedule it early in the morning, the day previously or prior to, so that they get an email at that particular time that you want it to go out. Do I want to create a new message? No, I want to use my existing message. You always want to make sure it's in format. And then you're going to send to all my contacts that are in here. My PBS students, if I wanted to send it to my Scipio leads, most of the time I'll send it to everybody that I know I've got information in. And then you want to hit proceed, and it will pull up my message. Which message do I want to send? I want to send, my Tuesday training or my Wednesday training call. I'll click on that, and then I'll click proceed, and then it will schedule it. But you have to come in, and the only thing is you can't schedule it to where it sends out automatically all the time. You actually have to come in and change your date.
Oh,
so
okay.
If you want to do it for Wednesday, you could actually, come back in like Tuesday morning or Monday morning, come in and schedule it. You can set them all up for which day, say you want to do Wednesdays on the 2nd, Tuesdays on the 3rd, and have it done for the whole week. And then come in on Monday or Sunday, like I always do mine on Sunday, come in on Sunday and say, all right, on Tuesday or Monday night at 9:00, I want this to go out on Tuesday morning for my Tuesday, for the Tuesday training. Then I'll put on there on Tuesday at 3:00, I want this to go out for my Wednesday, for the Wednesday wine training. And then be done with it. Or say, for Thursday, on Wednesday night, I want it to go out on Thursday morning for, the Paul's training webinar, things like that. So you can come in and set up and schedule it for that whole week to go out and be done with it, and have your messages already in there for them to send. Like I already have all my messages in here. I just click on which ones I want them to send, and then be done with it for the week, and then come back in on Sunday and then do my next week. And then they will get it. So that's all you have to do. And you see right here where it says the video, so you can actually watch the video on how to set up your messages. So everything it has a video that you can set up. And then I can review my email broadcast, make sure it looks like it the way I want it to go. So here's my saved emails. Everything is right here. Here's my old customer magnets that I want, that I swap out with. So this is where you would go in and create. Same thing here. You can actually come here and create an email that you want to send so that it's here for you to use. So if you go here to create an email, you see it also has a video. Watch that video on how you can create this email. And then you create the email. Subject line, saved emails, you can actually, my saved emails is where it's going to go. Put your subject line, and then you can just start typing your email. Put your contact information in there that you want to put in there, if it's for your Tuesday training, if it's for the Wednesday training, whatever training, or if it's just a reminder, hey, check out your Valentis profile, or anything you want to put in here. And then you get down to the bottom, and it will tell you to preview it. And when you preview it, it will tell you your spam count. If it's a what your spam count is, to let you know exactly where it's going to be. And then you can go back in and fix it a little bit. And get it down to where your spam count's kind of low.
What should it be, your spam count?
Your spam count should be less than 3.
Less than 3.
Yep. And it tells you, it actually has a counter up there for you. If it's above 4.3, it's going to be borderline. Anything over 5 is definitely going to go in spam.
And you said that what causes spam typically is if you put your URL in there, which is non-secure.
Yeah, usually anything with, and it's just how it's worded. Sometimes it can be how you word information. It could be if you put a phone number in there, if you put dates and times, schedules, if you break stuff down to have it singled, like with me, when I first did my Tuesday training calls, I had the time, please join us on Tuesday. Then I had a space at such and such, then had the time, central time zones, and drop down, then had the phone number, drop down the ID number. That came up as a 7-something on the spam counter. So then when I went back and put everything in paragraph form, the spam count went down.
Okay.
So, and then when you put your link in, don't single out your link. Kind of put everything in paragraph form instead of bullet points. For some reason, it brings your spam count down. But that video right there basically tells you how to fix it so that it doesn't get into your spam. And then the other thing you want to do is, if the people you're sending the emails to, text them and say, hey, you got something coming to you in your email, check your spam in case it goes there, especially if they've never gotten any emails from you before. It will definitely go into their spam. And just tell them to go in there and click that you are not spam, and then from then on, it will automatically show up in their inbox.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, but if they've never received an email from you before, and you're not on their list, it will definitely go into their spam first time. So you need to always send them a text, say, hey, I'm sending you an email. If you don't see it in your inbox, check your spam folder. This is where it's going to be coming from, and click it, not spam. And then that way, when they see it, they can click it, that it's not spam. It will show up in their inbox from then on, and then they will be able to see it. The other way you can alleviate that, and this is what I do, especially if you have students, when you go and create your customer magnet, you want to create one for your PBS students, and which is what I did for my PBS students. And when you get your codes, you want to send them one of these squeeze links so that they sign up for Response Magic for you. Then that means it automatically puts them in your no spam. So that this is giving you permission to send them emails when they fill this out. So you want to make sure you have that. And I have it whenever I send my student information sheet, that is on there in one of their steps. Sign up for this. And once they go in and sign up for that, it's right here. And I got it highlighted. Please go up and sign up. This allows me to send you emails for any upcoming offers, webinars, anything. And there's my squeeze link. They click on that, sign up themselves so that they give me permission to send them emails.
Okay, wonderful.
So you can go in and create an opt-in form just for your students or potential students, even your V-marketers that come in, that get started. Create that and have that squeeze link and send it to people that you want to send information to, and say, hey, come sign up for this or register for this so I can keep you updated and informed on information. This link gives you permission to send them emails without it going to spam.
Say that again, Sheila. I'm sorry.
When you create this magnet and send it to students, potential students, anybody, and they come in and fill out this information, that gives you permission to send them emails without it going to spam.
Okay.
But now if you come in and add them manually, then Response Magic sends them an email and it goes to spam asking them, do you give this person permission to send you emails? If they never pick it up, they never see your email, you will never get approval and your emails will keep going to spam. But if you send this to them and they fill it out, there's a little disclaimer underneath it as they filling it out that says you give this person permission to send you updates and information through email. So as soon as they fill it out, click on to submit. then your information is entered into their email as a recipient. So anything you send them comes straight to their inbox. Okay.
And the difference between the two is one's vertical, one's horizontal, right? That's the only
One's
difference.
vertical, one's horizontal, and how it appears. That's the only difference. So if you click on it, and just depends. So this is how it would show up. PBS students sign up, and they would just fill out their information. And then the other one, looks like that. They all look the same to me, but
Yeah.
I mean, it looked the same. The other one just looked bigger. So,
Right.
but you see right here, there's this disclaimer
Ah.
right here. But it also tells them they can opt out at any time. So all they have to do is just say stop. It says, I agree to give Sheila Magic permission to send me future emails. So it automatically go there. Right there's the disclaimer. So as soon as they fill this out, says keep informed, I get an email saying, hey, somebody signed up, and they're on my mailing list. So whenever I go in to send emails for anything, they're on my list. It goes straight to their inbox. Doesn't go to spam. So you want to make sure you have this, especially those of you that are instructing. If you have your student information sheet, which I highly suggest you create one. I had this before Rory even started with the flow. I just update it periodically whenever he puts stuff in there, whenever new information comes out. Like with the marketing, here's the one for the master. I included that one. Here's his blogging for cash. And then number 3, here's my response magic. Make sure you sign up for it. And it goes straight into my email list.
This is all too advanced for me.
You'll get there. But that's one way that, you can keep up with your emails.
I've never seen that new student thing.
You have it.
I do.
Yes, you do. Check your
Not an email.
No, you got it in Skype.
Skype. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check there then.
Yep.
I got one.
Okay. Any more questions?
I got one last question.
Okay.
Or one last statement rather. I just got my social today, and I went out to buy my cat food and my wine, and I got Beaujolais Village from Louis Jadot, and that got me to wondering, does Direct Sellers have a Beaujolais Village? I have not been able to see what their wine list is.
When you log into Direct Sellers, you can go to shop and see all the different wines they have. Like I said, don't ask me about wine. I couldn't tell you because I don't drink it. I can tell you where it comes from, what it's made of, what it's supposed to smell like, what it goes with, but not what it tastes like. So, but they do have a wine list of the different wines that they have available currently. And then, but as you become a member of the wine club, you do not pick what you get every month unless you specifically order it. Because whenever they get new wines from new vineyards, that's what you get in your shipment to try out. If there's something you do not like, you let them know, and they will make a list of things you don't like, and they'll make sure you never get that particular kind with those same types of ingredients or same types of background. You won't get those anymore. But then you
can tell them what you do like.
No, you can tell them what you don't when you start getting the wine. But now, once you become a member, you can still go in and create your own boxes to order personally. But as far as your personal wine shipment that comes every month, as part of being the club, those you do not get to pick. The sommelier picks those. But I
don't mind trying new wines. I just wondered if they had that.
Yeah, you can go to the Direct Sellers link I sent you the other day and just go into shop, and it will show you all the different ones on there.
Shop.
Yeah.
Okay. Jerry, too. Do you listen to the Wine Whisperer?
Yeah,
I don't know the name of the guy talking.
Jerry's, I keep wanting to say Seinfeld, but it's not. Green. Green,
Jerry,
green something other. I can't
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
you can, do you listen to the Wine Whisperer? Who was talking? I don't know who was talking.
Sherry.
No,
No,
who
that
did?
was
No, the other guy.
that was Bruce.
Bruce, do you listen to the Wine Whisperer?
No, I have just recently gotten into the wine thing.
Yeah, he's fairly
Okay.
new.
Well, he should text Jerry, and Jerry could answer that question very easily.
Yes. Yeah, once you go in there,
Look up Wine Whisperer on Facebook. You got Facebook, right?
yeah.
No, I do not. I have email.
We're working on him on that.
Oh, okay.
I'm old. I'm reluctant to try new
I'm
things.
old too, and I didn't have Facebook before I started this program.
So we got we're gradually breaking Mr. Bruce in.
Yeah, I
You'll never break.
I have it.
We won't break him, but he's conforming a little.
Can I ask him a question? Can I ask, who said something about the Belgian Congo?
That was
Me.
Mr. Bruce.
Can I ask you, you lived there?
Coffee.
I lived there for 2 years, 11 months, 4 days, 1 hour, and 25 minutes,
Okay.
and enjoyed the whole time.
He's world traveled. I've already told him he needs to start writing about all of his experiences.
Guy, yes. Oh, so I can meet it. Yes.
I'm going to write about them because I like telling people about my experiences. Have you ever run from a crocodile? That's one of my experiences.
Oh,
I
okay.
told you he's got a bunch of them. I love listening to him.
Information you guys might want to use. I have my personal position is a full profession.
Well, I prefer Scotch.
Well,
All right, we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
well, I'm just saying you can use that
Yes.
as a reason. It's a full professor of medicine.
Yeah. Well, Miss Suze, what you need to write that.
Yeah.
You need to write you a page. You got all the information there.
I agree with you.
There you go. See, there's your first article.
I'm waiting for your page, Sheila, with your mother making those cakes.
Oh, I told my mom I was supposed to go to a family reunion today, and I told her I wasn't going to be able to go because they were having it at a park, and I didn't have internet, and my husband is at a ball game, so he took his Wi-Fi card with him. And so she was like, "What?" I said, "Well, y'all the one decided not to have it at the house and want to go to a park." And I told her, I said, "Oh, by the way, I'm writing an article about you and your cakes." She's like, "When am I going to have time to make any more cakes?"
Oh, they're beautiful.
Yeah, she actually made a 4-tier, 6-legged cake for my cousin's wedding a couple of years ago. And it was absolutely gorgeous. We didn't even want to cut it. It was so pretty. It took 4 of us to transport it though and set it back up after she made it. And it was all white with crystals and pearls. But she does this as a hobby. She actually took the year before she retired. She took a class. Wilton Cake Company went to the college, the RTC college there. Community college, and they set up a 4-week class. I think it was 4 or 6-week class to teach people how to make cake and cake decorating. And she took it because she loves to cook. She loves to cook cakes. And that's what she's been doing ever since she took that class. She retired the year after that. And she's always made cakes for people, like little birthday cakes and stuff. Something, nothing extravagant. But after she took that class, it just went skyrocketed. Because then she, she got the design. She learned the actual techniques on how to decorate cakes the way she wanted to.
Does she do it out of the house?
Yeah. After the second year, she got so busy. My dad we had a four car carport garage, detached garage, And he took one of the bays and converted it into a kitchen for her.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And so she's got a double Dutch oven in there, a Sub-Zero
Oh.
refrigerator, a freezer. She's got granite
Wow.
countertops and cabinets. And then
Convection ovens, you said? too?
convection oven, double convection ovens. Yeah.
Wow.
She's got a dishwasher stove, everything. She's air conditioned, heat and air conditioned. And that's the kitchen area. Half of it's the kitchen area. The front part of it, my dad, I was telling him on the Evolution chat board, Dad actually put in a full couch recliner and a 65-inch flat screen TV. And he said he couldn't have her out there by herself. He had to keep her company. I said, no, you just wanted to make a man cave and kitchen. So, but yeah, he converted one of the bays in the carport for her to cook in. So,
Wow.
If I had that, I would convert it half into a carpentry workshop and half into a laboratory.
yeah, so look, but yeah, that's what he did. So he's got 3 carports, and one of them, he keeps his car and his truck in the other one, and the other one's just for storage and everything. But yeah, she goes in there and cooks whenever she's always in there cooking, because she probably does 2 or 3 cakes a week. She stays busy, but she loves it.
I bet it's word of mouth too.
It is.
Best advertisement you can get.
Yeah,
Yes.
she has never advertised. Never. If she
Wow.
did, she would probably have to hire people to help her. So that's why she
So
told me.
talent runs in the family, I see.
I don't cook sweets. I like to cook food.
Well, you're talented in so many ways.
I like to eat food.
Yeah.
With you there.
Okay, so what else do we need to go over? I think I'm pretty much got everything covered.
Yeah.
I think so for
All
today.
All right, dears. Well, my grandson's back from the pool. He's knocking at the door.
All right, thank you, Sheila.
All
Thank
right, y'all.
you.
And y'all
You
know-
have sure helped me, Sheila.
Good. And if y'all
Always.
have any questions, y'all know how to get in touch with me. Skype me or
Yeah,
Skype
you
me
poor
or-
thing.
All right. Well, y'all have a wonderful day, and we'll see y'all in the chat rooms.
Bye-bye.
All right,
Thanks so
bye-bye.
much. Bye-bye.
Bye.